Hi, welcome friends back to Right Away After Party. I'm Nick and this is my really great friend Kath, and we are discussing workshops. And we just had part one of workshops and now we're doing part two of workshops. Kath, would you like to start?
I love getting to part two. Hello, Nick. Um, do I want to start? Can you make me stop? Is the question. What I've learned is that even the most elite tennis players or the most famous golf players, they all have a coach. They all do different types of mini workshops in
Yeah.
their own career, in their own training time. And we, as writers, need to do the same. We have to use that muscle every day. We have to keep ourselves in fit shape. And because we are human beings like to take the shortcut whenever possible. And
Yes.
sometimes the shortcut doesn't serve us in our stories. So Nick's pulled out a bunch of workshops and papers
Yes.
that she's collected over the years. And shame
Yes.
on me, I have not pulled out any papers. I have taken workshops. Right. Over to you, Nick.
Okay. The thing is, I want to talk about with this episode is just about the expectations of workshops. I think that when I first began writing and I wanted to take
Hmm.
all these workshops, I kept thinking that they're going to give me like this magic formula of how to write like a bestseller. I was going to take this, I think the first workshop I ever took was like a weekend workshop with our writing mentor. And I was so excited. I remember like going with my pen and paper and I was just going to like, write down all of her, wisdom. And that workshop literally was just a reading, learning, and comprehensive workshop where she would read things and then we would kind of, go back and see like how we thought that paragraph worked or why it didn't work. And it was like, I was sitting there going, wait a second, when are we going to get down to like how you write?
I'm ready to publish my book tomorrow.
Used to be like, okay, so you have to start with this kind of sentence, and then you move into this kind of paragraph, and then and I thought that that's literally how the workshop was going to go. So I think it's like coming to the idea that every workshop is going to give you just a teeny tiny nugget and taking all of those nuggets, stringing them together, putting in your voice and your style and creating, this atmospheric part of you that is
Yes.
where the writer is born, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
absolutely
I,
right.
I think I think thinking that one workshop is going to be like your everything
One and
is
done?
yeah,
Not so much.
I just don't even know. It's like what I'm going to tell you is that so I recently just took a workshop on screenplay writing. Oh my gosh, never even thought I would be a screenplay writer, but it was such an intensive workshop. Look, I mean, this is like, look at this takeaway. I mean, this takeaway is a workshop in itself. And it was 3 days, was online. It was fabulous. And this one really did meet my expectations about like how to write something because it was so nuts and bolts and it was so niche. I think, it's because it wasn't just about writing, it was about writing a screenplay. And it was about writing a humorous screenplay, which is even more niche. So
Oh,
it was really nuts and bolts and like, let's get this done. And how do you do this? And like, here's the layers and how do you make it happen? But it
super
was,
effective dialogue is what's needed
yeah,
because
really
the whole
keeping
thing is
everything,
transported with dialogue.
yeah, and keeping everything tight, really, really tight. It's like, it's black, it's night, that's all you get. Yeah. Like the wind is howling, that's all you get. It's like, and then dialogue, dialogue, dialogue.
Yeah, yeah,
he
exactly.
likes
Dialogue,
he
the
likes
whole
a
thing is
cigarette.
carried.
That's it.
But it really helps for when you're writing dialogue in a novel because
Yes,
dialogue is what's going to move the pace forward. And talking about moving the pace forward, this is it. This is all the time you have for part two.
way too fast. You have to come back for part three because in part three we're going to talk a lot more about workshops and really getting diving into them more. So
Okay,
come
see you
back.
in part three.